Hey, mates.
Well, we'll just tell your mother that we ate it all.
So you
Spin us a song.
bombed in front of your ex.
That's kind of the whole story. Yeah. Well,
Didn't you say that on the last episode?
no. I said I didn't know what the story was going to... Oh, did I? I can't fucking remember. It was 30 seconds ago. I'm not even high. I've smoked 0 weed today.
Yeah, because
Wow.
you're going to work.
Well, I went home before coming here and just forgot to smoke weed.
That's
Anyway,
great news.
yeah, I'm going to go immediately home after this.
No, we're going to the
and
bar.
then head back out to smoke. Anyway, what I was saying...
At least have a beer with us.
Yeah, I'll have a bit.
It's so hard to get a hold of you these days.
I'm just too busy networking.
Just been busy.
So my ex, all right, we dated for a very long time when I was much younger. We broke up about a decade ago.
Your high school sweetheart.
My high school sweetheart. I think a couple episodes ago
Yeah,
I
you
said
mentioned that.
I'm about to go perform in front of my ex.
You did.
Yeah, you did. It was on the
Bring It On.
Bring It On episode with Alex Shea.
So my ex is back from England. She's got a partner. I'm married. It's all kosher. Nothing, no funny business or whatever. But she hit me up to be like, "Hey, I'm in Sydney. What are you up to tonight?"
Wanna
And I-
Well, as we said, like there really is no funny business.
Yep. And I was like,
Well,
"Oh."
there were 10 other good
And
comics.
we're on,
Oh, yeah,
we're
yeah.
on very good terms, and it's all. And I was like, man,
Well,
I'd love to see you. Yep.
No, we're not at that point yet. But
Okay.
I'll
Alright.
give you some credit in this
All right,
story.
I appreciate that. So she hit me up, and she was like, "Yo."
She said, yo,
Yeah, she talks like me. She's like, "Yo, what are you up to tonight?"
want to hang with the big dog?
yeah. What up, brother?
Yeah. What's up, my man? Anyway, so she goes, "Yo, I'm around tonight. What are you doing? Let's catch up." And I was like, "Oh man, I'm doing this gig in Newtown. It's called Cactus Juice Newtown Hotel.
It
It's
was
like
started by Jamie Kirk.
it's an open mic, and the way I was, I'm like, it's an open mic, but it's like pretty good comics do it. It's like a good.
Did you
curated-
explain that I
it's-
started it?
I didn't.
It's-
She doesn't know who you are.
It's the
I
like
feel like you missed a trick there.
like we can give credit to our friends like maybe the most featured guest Andrew Bensley.
I think
He
Broadbridge
currently
might
runs
have
it.
No,
Am I-
Charlie. I think.
Yeah, Charlie's the most
Maybe
focused.
maybe they're all equal or whatever,
Yeah.
but like it's like the best open mic in
Yeah,
Sydney.
it's like it's not really an open mic. It's a place for comedians to do new stuff as opposed to
Yeah.
people who can't really do it to figure
It's
out
like
how
a
to do
good
it.
comedy-ish.
Yeah, it's like yeah.
Hey,
just
I'm
kidding.
doing that coming up.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So I do that gig most weeks. It's a great gig. Love hanging out. It's good beers. It's a good pub. It's great. It's like a good room. Like there's an
run
audience
well.
and you perform and people
Yeah,
laugh.
built from nothing
Yeah.
by a golden god.
Anyway,
And Ben
so
Goschen.
Yeah.
I was
I should have said and Jamie Kirk.
And my Jew friend.
and because she moved to England like 5 years ago, she hasn't seen me do comedy in 5 years. So I've had a bit of like, oh, it'd be nice if she could like
watch me be good.
watch me be good. I'm good now. And it's like because she likes Australian comedy a lot. She's a big fan of like Nick Cody and like she likes like Little Dum Dum Club. She like messaged me one time being like, I heard Rose bitching about you on phone hacks. Like it was
All right.
yeah,
That's
yeah. Like
funny.
she's a fan. Like,
I wasn't bitching
No, I-
about you. I was just telling the Andy
I
Zotto
think the actual
story.
thing-
I listened to the pod and Rose was very negative about you.
I think it was Nick Kappa's bitching about you on phone hacks.
Kappa was more negative about.
Yeah.
But then he joked about you, but then he was nice about you. as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. I mean,
Hastings didn't hear that part. It was 2019.
no, I was
was launching into a revenge
Yeah.
I'd
fantasy.
already seen Red and was DMing him that I was going to murder him. It's like,
We just told like
you were looking up his girlfriend on Insta, being like, "I'm going to sleep with her." Dude.
we just mentioned that like a very quick version of what happened in the Andy Zotto episode, which if you haven't listened, go back. Real treat. I actually re-listened quite
yeah.
recently.
You know how we
It's
keep
so
referencing 2019 Hastos?
Mm.
Well, 2019 started with
This
Andy
was-
Zotto too. It was New Year's Eve
this
2018.
This is 2018.
yeah.
Hashtag.
New Year's Eve 2018 is when it happened.
Yeah.
Um,
But also in
what
that
a
episode,
year you had.
what a fucking year I had.
but
What
also
a bad year you had.
That's what I
also
keep telling people.
It's amazing you're still sitting here.
I know.
but also in that episode,
It's amazing we didn't
after-
replace you with Charlie.
Also in that episode, after singing you, Kappa specifically mentioned your name in a positive light.
I don't believe this.
I didn't listen that far.
Anyway,
You did listen that far.
Did I?
Oh, I was about to say something funny, but then that was going to be illegal for me to mention
Oh.
something to do with me no longer working.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Is there a way that we could mention this without me being libelous?
Yeah.
Do you remember the funny thing that you mentioned to me that happened at the end of the episode?
No.
With the ad that played?
No, I can't remember.
Was
at
it an
all.
ad for your old workplace?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Yeah. Immediately after my Phone Hacks episode, an ad for my old workplace played. And,
If you just don't say the name, you can say whatever you want.
Yeah, I think so.
But it's sort of due to the circumstances with which I no longer worked there, that was quite funny, I think.
Yeah, I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I kind of, it's kind of important to me that she sees that I'm a comedian now. I'm like and that's the thing.
I'm doing an open mic.
That's the thing. Well, yeah, like.
Can I ask how much contact did you have with each other while she was in UK?
We talk once a month,
Yeah,
but like we're very formative. She's probably one of the most formative people I've ever met.
so she
in my
knows,
life.
but so, like she knows what you're up to, basically.
Yeah,
She
she
wasn't
knows-
just like, oh, Andrew did comedy 5 years ago.
No. We're in touch. Like, just not often, but we're in touch. And we're on very good terms, and it's all good.
Do you tell her things about like your festival shows or anything, or is it just mainly like I'm a comedian?
I think I did tell her about
You
Andy's
Up?
O2.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I told her about You Up. I can't remember. I was taking a lot of drugs at that time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was like, come down to Cactus. It'll be fun. That'll be cool. And then
Don't bring your boyfriend.
my boyfriend's still in England. It's fine.
Yeah, you better fucking stay there.
What? He's a cop.
Yeah, you better fucking
It's
stay
fucking
there.
weird. He's a cop.
Yeah.
Like, anyway. So I tell her to come. She comes to the open mic. And the whole time I'm like, yeah, cool. I'll just do some new gear. It's like a pretty warm crowd. Like, don't worry about it.
Well, this is where I want to jump in. They weren't a pretty warm crowd.
All right.
Like, 'cause-
I wasn't watching the rest of the show. I
Yeah.
kind of assumed they were.
Because I was on before you, and I did it fine. Like, it was okay. Like, it wasn't anything special. But pretty
Yeah.
much everybody who went on came out and was like, "Oh, they're a bit like."
That's information I
Hard
would have
work.
liked beforehand, because
Like-
then I would have done old material.
I would have
Yeah.
crushed with my
But-
coronavirus.
But everyone was just saying, it was like this one guy in the front loved everything. He was great, but then everyone else was like a bit. Just
Well, he
flat.
didn't love everything. Anyway, so for a second, I'm like, oh, Amy's here. I should probably, do good material. Then I was like, no, don't be silly. You're a good comedian. It's an open mic. You'd seem like you were trying to impress her to the other comedians. That's crazy. Just do what you do normally, and you're a good enough comedian for it to, be fine. A few things went wrong. I think part of it is, it sounds like, maybe they weren't the hottest crowd. But also, I saw my ex-girlfriend and the woman I lost my virginity to in the second row when I was trying to do jokes I barely remember. And boy, did I shit myself. Just immediately, it was like I'd forgotten how to do comedy. I lost all... It was crazy. It was the first thing I thought as soon as I started bombing was like, she's going to tell her dad. Her dad's going to be like, I was right about him the whole time. Anyway, as soon as she came out, I was sweating. Full credit to a friend of the show, B. Barbara Skirler. She made a point to be like, dude, it was a decade ago. You're fine. You can't place it. And I was like, shut up, B. I'm freaking out. As soon as Amy came out, I made a point to be like, oh my God, I guess I tried to laugh it off. And basically was like, yeah, I bombed because you were in the audience. She was like, yeah, I kind of assumed that's what happened.
Oh, that's a low blow.
Yeah,
She
like
didn't
she
even
was
try to soft sell you?
she was like, oh yeah, you bombed, which I almost appreciated.
Respect.
I was
Yeah.
like, all right, so I'm glad she's being honest with me. And that implies to me that she does trust that I'm good, or at
Yeah.
least not terrible. But
I-
she was straight up like,
I
yeah,
have a question for each of you.
yeah.
I think this might be the same question I was about to ask.
Go on.
You go.
Well, for you,
Yeah.
do you have any exes that you would be very okay with bombing in front of? And do you have any that you would not be okay with bombing
I only
in
have
front
two
of?
exes, and one of them's a comic. The other one's the one I'm talking about.
I have two exes. And they've both seen me do comedy.
One of them's a
One-
comic.
Yeah,
Yeah, remember, you know her very well.
yeah.
We never officially dated, but we had a conversation. We've agreed on the term exes.
Right. That
Yeah, it's
feels
based.
wrong to me, but
All right. Well, I'm glad Rose has a problem with it.
Yeah.
That's important to me, and
I've done comedy in front of both my exes.
because to say we used to
One-
sleep together is lowballing it. That's not an accurate representation of the emotional stake, the emotions that were at play.
I guess.
One's come
Just
to
because we never said we are girlfriend and
Yeah.
boyfriend doesn't mean that it's not a significant and important relationship.
Right.
We both think of each other as our exes.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then my answer changes based on that. But
So Juan has seen me like a few times do like festival stuff, and like
Yeah.
she's seen me do like sports, and I've always done well.
this
Like,
is in post breakup.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
years later. Like I wasn't even doing comedy when I was with either of these women.
Mm-hmm.
The second one saw me at Everly before I ran it, and she brought like the only crowd, so it was like
Right.
8 people, and I did like pretty good, but like
Well, the
not.
odds were stacked in your favor.
They were, but like, you know, it's not the good you want to do by like
Yeah.
telling your ex like, oh, you've been away in London doing your thing. I'm now doing comedy and stuff. You should come check. Because like, I never told her like, come check out a gig. She's like, oh, I should go see you sometime. And you're like, yeah, sure, I'm doing this. Because like I think at the time I would have been like fairly new-ish. So getting on Everly would have been a deal. Like it would have been more
Now
than
you run Everly.
yeah, and like
Now
if-
I drive the
yeah.
school bus.
Yeah. Well, now I run Everly, and if anyone was like, I'm bringing my ex tonight, I'd be like, absolutely don't bother. Like, I'd be like, they're not going to enjoy me and Ben riffing to 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy what we've done to Everly. We've made the show and hang way more fun
Yeah.
while also losing 80% of the
Drastically
audience
less.
and the bar's faith in us.
But
But
come
like,
to it, it's great.
yeah,
It
but
is,
like,
man.
I
Even
mean,
just
like,
come have a beer.
I've had,
Like, it's such a good
I've
hang.
fucking had more fun doing Everly for the last 2 years to like 8 to 10 people, mostly 3 to 5,
Yeah,
than
yeah.
I had any time before I ran out, and it was like 30 people.
Yeah, yeah. I used to
Me-
hate doing it when it was a good
Yeah,
run.
me too.
I
It was
used
like a
to-
weird vibe.
I used to hate doing
That
it.
was a weird, like, kind of albatross for me.
Yeah.
I did well, I think, I would say 40% of the time there. But it's just one of those ones where I guess it's Sunday, it's a different vibe. It wasn't. There was a difference between that and Terrace, because Terrace always used to be rowdy as shit on a
Yes.
Sunday night.
Very
Everyone would
different
get,
energy.
yeah, everyone
Well, 'cause
would.
it's in King's
Yeah,
Cross.
everyone would be getting drunk. You'd more than likely kill by doing material. Then you could add the ultra kill by doing some crowd work to the drunk cunts. Whereas like Everly was a much more inner westy, like, oh, you gotta, and like more comedy savvy because they knew the previous runner more often than not, and would be like, all right, well, you got to give a fucking something, and you'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, by your metric of what an X is, then
Sure.
I think my first, just like,
We've explicitly agreed to use that term for the record.
yeah. So by your metric of X's, well, that's what I think is like the last person I like dated like properly. We never had the talk, but like we were a couple. Like we went on a fucking like romantic getaway to the Blue Mountains. Like
Ooh.
that's
Yeah, that's
like,
enough.
That's
Yeah,
like,
that counts.
That's like a couple thing. But by that metric, the first 2 X's, I would be absolutely okay with bombing in front of. And I don't think I would bomb in front of them because I wouldn't be flummoxed by them being there. But the next 2, I think I would be very flummoxed by and would totally bomb even if I was doing good shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I've just realized I didn't even answer your question. I'd be more than okay with like bombing in front of my first girlfriend because we're on good terms, and it could just be like kind of like a laugh and be like, haha.
I'd make me come
Yeah.
to humiliation.
Yeah,
fetish.
well, like it'd just be like, oh, you got to see me do like bad tonight. It never happens. You know,
Yeah.
it's like kind of like the same thing as not being able to get hard. You're just like, yeah, that happens to most guys. You know? It's just
Hey,
like-
every comedian doesn't get hard sometimes.
yeah. Whereas like my second
Every-
girlfriend, who's
A
Say-
lot of them don't.
yeah, and
female ones.
she's seen me at enough shows, and she's
I was
savvy enough
conflating the two.
because
Yeah.
she's like involved in like the media world to know, and she's like a big like film, TV, like all that sort of stuff buff. She isn't like savvy enough in that world to
Your
know.
ex is Amanda Keller.
Yeah.
It's Amanda Keller from
Yeah, it
Channel
is.
10.
Yeah, me and the Kel dog had some good times. That's what I call
Your
her.
ex is Carrie Ann Kennelly?
Yeah,
Oh
Cac.
boy.
Yeah, she dumped me because I said some pretty incendiary things. But yeah, like she's just generally more savvy. So like if she saw me bomb, I'd just be like, oh, no big deal. Whereas like my second one would be so few and far between, and we don't really talk anymore apart from like happy birthday every year, that if she saw me bomb, I'd be a bit like, she'd be like, oh, I've moved on. Like, I bought a house. I've got a new
Yeah.
boyfriend and stuff, and
Yeah.
I've got a dog now. And
Yeah.
like, I just watched him do a bar show to 2 people, and he goes around and calls himself a comedian. Like, that's a fucking joke. Like,
Yeah.
that I would be a little.
Well, the
mortified
second
by.
most recent X and the most major one, I think, would be similar for me. It'd be like, oh, you're still a loser, and I'm
She's
getting
seen
married.
you heaps of times,
Yeah.
though. Like, she's like, knows you can do comedy. She knows that I can do comedy. Like, you guys were dating for years.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
She definitely knows Hastings can.
She saw one
That
of
was
my
your
hours.
point, right? Yeah, but like I mean, like my wife, for instance, like she could come see any show, and like if she bombed, she'd probably soft sell me a little. She wouldn't go hard on the like
I
you
bet laughs
bombed.
at me when I.
No, I think Amy would be like, "Oh, the crowd was weird, and like you maybe did this wrong." Not in like a coachy way, but like she'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, maybe the jokes weren't there." But like more often than not, she'd be supportive. Which brings me to the question that I thought you were going to ask: is like, who do you think out of anyone in the audience, like you don't know, they could be anyone, who would throw you off the most walking out and noticing in
Someone
the second
you
row?
don't know.
No. Like it's got to be someone you know or peripherally know. Like it can be like it
I
could
bombed
be.
in front of my dad.
But I'm talking about like running the gamut between like your friends from high school, your friends currently,
Yeah.
other comics, your parents, your parents-in-law, your step-parents, to people like Gideon.
Parents-in-law would be
or
tough.
like what about like Hugh though? Like someone
Yeah.
like who booked an important thing.
No, I've performed in front of Hugh. It's fine. I had a high school bully front row at the boat shed once. That was pretty tough.
See, I'd be fine with that because I'd be fine with it.
There's
Like,
not actually anything at stake.
yeah, there's not anything at stake, and you can like fucking have some fun with him and make it like smooth over a little bit. Whereas I think like at the boat shed, if like someone was there being like, "We're scouting you for an opportunity to do like a festival or something,"
Yeah.
you'd be a little more like. You'd be looking at them being like, well, I can't fucking crowd work them. Like, I'm not going to
Yeah.
be the guy that, like, asks Gideon how long he's been married. Like, whereas, like, I could do that with my high school bully or, like, even if my ex was there.
I once accidentally crowd worked some Century people there to see
Yeah.
my hour without realizing who they were.
But, like, even if my ex was there and she was genuinely unimpressed, like, I'd feel confident I could get a laugh being like, my ex-girlfriend's watching me bombing. Whereas, like, I couldn't be like, hey, Gideon is scouting me for zone. He's watching me bombing. Because to the crowd, that would sound like, blah, 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 watching me bombing. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it means nothing to them.
I think, like, given more time, I could probably come up with a few other people. Like, there, like maybe like toxic people who I like cut out of my life. But like
No, I'd
The-
love for them to see me.
the two things,
Yeah, kind of the same.
I think
Yeah.
the two that would
That's
throw
what I'm doing.
the two that would throw me the most would be like my kind of major ex and my dad, because my dad and I haven't spoken for over 2 years.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
Rose's dad heckled me once.
yeah,
What'd he say?
that night was the last time I saw my dad.
What did he
Don't
say?
you dare cross Andrew Hastings or Rose Piper will cut you out.
What did he say to you?
I don't
Well-
even remember. He was wasted.
He
though.
we can tell that story, I guess.
I don't really remember.
Was this Mortal Comedy?
Mortal Kombat 2.
It was Mortal Kombat
I
2.
might have seen this.
It was the
You might have.
maybe it was the first night of it. We did
Yeah.
2, and it was the first
I swear
one.
I've seen someone's parents heckle.
He turned up with like
Even
I
my
think 10 people from his work, and he was fucking lit up. He was so pissed, and he like saw me out the back of the container before the show, and I like saw how drunk he was and was just like, "Don't talk during the show. Like you can't talk." And he's like, "No, I won't." And he wasn't in the front, but he was near the front, and I went on first, and he like was very chatty through my set, and like that was fine. Like I would have rather he wasn't, but it was fine for me because I could like snap back at him, and like him and all of his mates would be like, "Oh yeah, like, fucking get him." There were a couple of things in retrospect that I wish I had have responded to differently.
Sure.
I remember at one point I was doing a joke about how I used to be kind of a fat kid, and he just said, "You weren't that fat, mate." And I wish I had said, "How would you know you weren't fucking there?"
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And
This feels so visceral to me, like I was there.
You
but
might have
I
been there.
Don't think I was. Like
I-
I don't think I've
I
seen
don't-
Mortal
We
Kombat.
might
don't-
have just had a beer the next day.
yeah, I don't remember you being at this show.
But
at
I
least,
remember a
'cause-
show. Like, was it in the container?
Yeah,
Yes.
I
But you
remember
mu-
a show in the container where like someone was visibly drunk that like was part of like a immediate first party to someone in the show and being kind
Oh.
of
There's more to it.
I've had a
guess.
few of them in the container. That you
Maybe
might have
it's
been there
you,
for.
yeah.
Yeah. There's more to it.
Not a
And-
dad, but
And
yeah.
the
Maybe it was a
other
vet.
the other thing that he said
Basically.
was like because I kept slamming him, and at one point he went like, "Love you, mate," and I was like really like, "Oh, this is a tense moment here. Like, how do I respond to this?" And retrospectively, I wish I had have said, "I wish I could say the same thing,"
Man, you're
which
really
is
working it out up there, aren't you?
which is what I was actually thinking. But like I like panicked and was just like, "Oh, love you too," and then moved
That's
on.
pretty funny.
But then like
is funny.
but like so like I did fine, but then I went and like stood around the back, and Andy went on, and he kept heckling or whatever. But because there were 10 like drunk people from my dad's work there, like they hated him.
Yeah.
Like so, like
They hated Hastings or they hated your dad?
No, they hated Hastings because every time he tried to clap back, they're like, "How dare you say that to Bob?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah.
no right," or whatever. To the point that I literally got on the backstage mic and told him to shut up. Like,
Fuck,
Yeah,
man.
I was doing good other than that.
yeah,
Cool,
but
man.
they comprised about like
Yeah.
what, like a third of the crowd,
It
or
was
maybe
pretty wild.
maybe more than that. Like,
I have a follow up to the exit cactus juice story. I just realized.
Yep, I have a follow-up question as well before
Yep.
we go to break.
Immediately after, before we get a break. Immediately
this is
after.
a new thing that happens when we record and it's too hot in my
bit-
apartment.
bit-
oh, sorry,
a-
in the blast hole.
A bit afterwards,
house
I
is the
was
blast
telling my ex
I live in the blast hole now.
the fear I had.
Things aren't looking so good.
I'm subletting my apartment out.
I have.
I will say, if anyone wants to sublet my place, so I'm at Melbourne Comedy Festival, that'd be great.
I was talking to him, and I told her that thing I said earlier, where I was like, worried that you're going to tell your dad, and she like looked very confused. She was like, why would my dad like be surprised? Like, why would he give a shit?
Yeah, I'm
and I was like,
confused.
I always thought like me and Chris got along. And
She was like,
she like straight-
Hastings, my dad's name is Reese Jones. He runs the comedy lounge.
my ex without blinking.
Oh, so many open micers who listen to this are going to be like, getting on time. Hey, can I get a spot?
Without blinking, I was like, oh, it's like Chris likes me and stuff, like it would, and she was like, no, he always hated you.
Oh,
And I was
man.
like, what are you doing? And she was like, yeah, no, he like can't, he hates you. Like
That is something like even 10 years removed, I'd be like, that's kind of a fucking blow. Like,
Yeah,
I lived 10
I-
years of my life thinking at least I had that.
yeah,
Like,
I've like since been like, I thought Chris kind of liked me. Like,
now I'm kind of like want to text both my exes and be like, what do your parents think of me?
yeah,
I-
my mum did love me.
Sure.
Mums love me.
I reckon my like first major girlfriend, her dad wouldn't have been that keen on me.
Let's all go to break and text all our exes.
Well, it's kind of in a way foreshadowing something that we might be trying later on this episode. So,
So I have one more question.
yes, yes.
It's kind of the converse side to this, and it's within the realms
More of a
of
Vans kind
yeah,
of deal.
it's within the realms of reason. Who would you love to crush in front of most? So it can't be like John Mulaney or like a
Yeah.
visiting US comic, but it can be like
Someone from your past or something like
someone that you know personally, or like a booker for something semi-important in Australia. But it can't be like, oh, the director of Just for Laughs in Montreal.
Yeah. I
Well-
mean, like
well-
strategically, it would be like the owner of a major management company.
Yeah, say his name.
It could be more than one.
Say
There's-
Kevin's name.
There's more than one owner.
Say Kevin White's name.
There's more than one major.
Say Kevin White's name and say you're sorry. Say Kevin White's name and say water
There's-
under the bridge, mate.
There's more than one comedy company in Australia, which is what I said to Kevin.
If anyone from that particular management company is listening, I appreciate everything that you've thrown my way recently.
We didn't say anything negative about them.
Yeah, I know. I two answers I think for that. One would be, I think, because he does apparently come out here occasionally. It would be like JP Buck, who is like the booker for Conan.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
like that's
and-
not outside the realms of possibility.
On a personal shitty note,
Yeah, that's the
I've
answer we
got-
should get to.
I've got tons. Like
Yeah,
all-
that's where the gold is.
like the shitty like. But I think the thing is that with any of these people, even if I did objectively like crush, they would sit there and hate me the whole time. Like
Oh, sure.
like my boss who fired me, like from when I used to work in a bottle shop, like he was like one of the worst people I've ever met in my entire life. And he'd sit there and be like, "Oh, he's a bloody poof." Like,
Yeah.
But somewhere in his head would be like, fuck, you like really actually made something of yourself.
To crush
Like,
in front of
any like old bullies and stuff like that.
I'm not trying to be funny. Like maybe my dad.
Yeah, no, I figured.
But
Maybe
your dad must have seen you crush.
No. No, I get very in my head. In the few times he's come see me, I've not been at my peak.
Right.
But like also like I don't know. There's like just like girls I want to fuck. Like maybe like there's like comedians who I would love to
Yeah.
Yeah, like guys who like I just have like a few albatrosses out there. Guys who I feel like don't respect me maybe the way I deserve.
Yeah, well, I think like the
Jeez,
thing
fucking, we'll be here all day.
with maybe with like the
Alexander White, Alexander. I'm going alphabetical.
Yeah.
Alexander J. Alexander.
You think Alex J's name is Alexander J?
Well, not his birth name. But her stage name.
Yeah, see the thing with like bullies or people that you didn't like during high school and stuff, I personally would much prefer less to crush in front of them. More I'd prefer them to like be thumbing through like a guide to something or be talking about like, oh yeah, I've been getting into that Netflix stand-up comedy, and
Yeah.
someone's like, oh man, have you seen Jamie? He's like one of the best comics, and they're like, I went to high school with that.
Yeah.
Boop. Yeah, you know, like,
That has always been my kind of fantasy of like some like person who was a cunt to me, just kind of like flicking through the channels and then seeing me on the gala.
yeah.
What do you
That
reckon
much
the
more.
people who made fun of Hayden Gadsby in high school thought of Nanette?
I reckon they probably hated it.
Really didn't like it. I think they didn't watch it, but they've got a lot of opinions on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
oh,
the
yeah.
I think the D word probably got thrown around pretty liberally.
Yeah. Deadly.
Yeah, deadly,
indigenous.
deadly funny. All right, shall we take a break?
I'm all right. I don't think I need a break, but if you guys want to have one,
I'm
cool
wearing
with
a shirt, so
it.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I'm
mind.
definitely not.
I'll have a break. Yeah,
All right, let's keep it quick though. I do have to go smoke cones.
You're coming out with us.
Yeah, I'll have a quick beer and then I'm gonna go smoke
It's
cones.
Saturday night. You
4
don't
quick
have
beers.
a rush.
I have work tomorrow.
What time?
10.
Okay, well that's fine. You can come.
Yeah,
out for
it's
4
fine.
quick
I can have a
beers.
beer. I'm not saying I won't have a beer. I'm gonna have a beer.
Let's do it.
All
We'll
right, let's
see.
have
We'll
this
be
during the
back in a
break.
minute.
Peace.
So we're almost 100 episodes in, right?
Yeah.
We are.
And we're basically getting the same amount of listens per week as we do episodes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also,
And we-
I didn't know we were supposed to be recording 2 episodes today.
Yeah. We discussed this on the last episode.
Whereas, like,
I
a lot
think.
of our friends are doing podcasts in Sydney comedy, and they seem to be telling us that they get like thousands a week.
yeah, much
Could-
better than us.
I think maybe because some of them,
Good.
have come out with a strong concept and they've stuck to it.
Yeah, I thought our concept was strong, but it didn't lead well out of the gate, so we gradually changed it to
Yeah. We
nothing.
made it about
To
Venom
every
very
other
quickly.
podcast.
Yeah.
Remember when this podcast was mostly about Venom?
Yeah,
But
those
we
halcyon days.
so because of that, we thought maybe we might try some on for size.
Yeah,
Yeah, just see
maybe,
how we go.
Maybe we see if we can get listeners
We're trying
doing
to figure out
these
if the,
concepts.
if the
Yeah.
problem is with us as podcasters or if it's with the premise of we'll just tell you mother we ate it
Yeah,
all.
because I thought the premise
Yeah.
was strong.
Yeah.
I thought people wanted to hear about Hotbot.
Yeah. I thought everyone loved Hotbot.
I thought people want to hear 3 people with no movie analysis experience talking about a direct-to-Netflix
That's not
movie.
true. I have half a communications degree.
I have a media and writing degree, my dude.
Damn.
I have a journalism degree.
I think I did in uni. I did this course called like text to screen,
Yeah.
and it was based on books being made into movies, obviously.
Yeah.
And for the semester, because I was like, oh fuck yeah, you just get to watch movies for a semester. That rules.
You gotta
But
read the books.
Well, yeah, you had to read 11 books in 11 weeks.
Oh my god.
I read 2 of them,
Yeah.
and
That is still a lot for me.
I got caught
Lucky if I
out.
get 11 Wikipedia articles in 11 weeks.
I got caught out.
Oh, I could crunch out fucking
I'd
50 in a day.
I'd tear up Wikipedia.
Oh yeah, well I tore up like Wikipedia and stuff, but I got caught out in a fucking major way once where like we were doing the piano and it was in a tutorial and
Right.
like for some like I would just try
One
and
of
keep
New
my
Zealand's best movies.
sometimes like in tutorials like I had one where we did like European cinema every week and you could tell that no one watched the movie because like the lecturer or the tutorial person would be like, so what do we think about like the symbolism in this? And everyone would be silent until he was like, I think it's kind of like this, and we'd all be like, oh yeah. And I actually had watched the movies because
Yeah, I was
that's how
going to say that actually.
yeah, and I actually had watched the movies because I was but like this one, we were talking about the piano, and the woman was just like, Jamie, we haven't heard from you in a while, and so I was like, fuck, hadn't watched the piano the movie, hadn't read the book, just had read the Wikipedia, so I went on like an impassioned 5-minute speech about this thing, and I like everyone was looking at me, no one interjected, so I thought it would be like one of those moments where at the end, like they'd all look at me silently. And then 2 seconds later, you'd just hear like, and then everyone would get up and start clapping.
Yeah,
but
of
it was 5 seconds of silence, and then my tutor being like, "You realize that was a dream sequence, right?" And I was like, yeah, well, it's open to interpretation." And she was like, "It's not." And I was like. And like she could like gave me a look like read the book book next time, bitch. But like I did like the fucking exam, like because it was like 12 things, and I was like, oh look, it could be any of them. I'll hedge my bets. Like, I'm not willing to watch every movie still. And it ended up being about the shipping news, which I watched the movie of, but read about 2 chapters of the book. And I bullshitted about the book for 4 pages and got a credit for
Shipping
it.
news is one of those things
But
where
with-
I know I'm not going to like it literally just based on the
Apparently,
title.
the book
with-
is quite good.
But with embarrassing stories like that and the pen thing, I think we're going to say that you weren't hot in uni.
Okay, my name's Jamie Kirk. I'm the guest on Were You Hot in Uni with Lauren Bonner and B. Barbara Skirla.
Yeah, I am B. Bubba Scola.
And I am Lauren Bonner. I have fiery red hair and an attitude to match.
Yeah, I'm bisexual and I'm biracial.
And me too, to both those things. Right, we're having fun, girls, right?
I could
You know, just
friend.
Just mixing it up with you girls, Lauren and B. It's nice to be here on the podcast. I
It's
listened
nice to have you here. We
listened to the-
prepared snacks.
Thank you. I listened to the Guy Montgomery episode. I thought it was great. Listening to
What did you think about the Rose Piper episode?
You know, like I don't listen to episodes where my podcast hosts are on. It fills me with rage and blood in my nose.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah. So what are we here to talk about this week, girls?
We
I don't
want
wanna
to
take
know
over.
whether or not you were hot in high school, Jamie. This is
Uni.
how Lauren Bonner thought.
Why do you refer to yourself in the
The
third
third
person
person,
like
yeah.
that, Lauren?
because
Because what, Lauren?
I can't get out of it without being mean.
You can.
The worst part
I
about
love
this
Lauren,
concept
she's
is
great.
people are just going to go and listen to their podcast
Yeah.
and go, oh, this is better.
yeah. Anyway, so how was private school for you guys?
Well, I did go to private school.
Oh, I think maybe we've got to get a different guest.
You mean there are comics that did not go to private school?
Not a lot of them.
I feel like all the successful ones did.
I feel like maybe they did too. No, I think it's sick. Yeah, were you hot in high school, Jamie?
I mean, like to me,
Yeah. You were hot to you? Did you crush puss?
no. Did they ask that question in this
I
podcast?
literally-
that's part of
I've
what...
never listened.
You never listen to your own podcast?
No, never. I'm too busy recording it.
Yeah, that
I
makes
feel like
sense.
at one point each time we have to suspend the disbelief.
No.
I've been on the podcast because I'm a host of it, but we kind of gauge how much action you got, and that is one of the indicators of whether or not.
So when
you
I
were
say
hot in high
0,
school.
does that just end the episode there?
Oh, I think that kind of.
I don't believe that you got 0 pussy in high school, Jamie.
But-
I think you did.
I did not.
But how we sort of end the
Oh, you didn't lose
episodes.
your virginity till like way late. Hey?
Yeah, 27.
But how we sort of end the episode is to tell you, like, is to ask you, do you think you're hot now?
Do I think I'm hot now?
Yeah.
No.
I like your new haircut.
Yeah, thanks. People
This
have
is
got
Lauren Bonner
big-
saying it, by
because-
the way.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks,
because the
Loz.
thing-
Can I call you Loz?
Yeah.
And can I call you BB?
Well, sure.
Can I call you BB-8?
BBS? Loz was saying, actually saying to me the other day.
Loz was saying, what is this, a Dr. Seuss podcast, girls?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
But she was
10,000 listens.
I can roof it up with the girls.
so me B overheard Loz actually saying to Rosie the other day that she likes the new haircut. She thinks it's good.
Oh, well, that's very nice of her. Yeah, I'm a fan of the haircut. I wouldn't say I'm hot now. Obviously, like I'm married. So like,
I think you're a good looking guy.
thanks,
Yeah.
Lauren.
Yeah.
You
But
are.
like, I always
Because it's
You
all
make my put.
because as we often
No.
As-
No, not going there.
as we often say, it's all about confidence. And you're like a cool, confident guy. You
I
know?
also just think like aesthetically you're a good looking guy.
yeah.
Yeah. You got like a nice face, like your beard works, like it's like planned and manicured, it matches your hair, like you dress nice, like you're a
Yeah.
good looking guy.
Yeah, I guess like
I
Like
actually
you've got kind of like a like I'm not trying to like dismiss like I know you're fat, like I'm not trying to like ignore that, but
That
like
hurts,
it
Lauren.
works for you. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to like be a dick. Like it works for you. Like it fits your like that's a type in of itself now. Like
sounds like
yeah, but it
part
doesn't.
of that then you were mugging him off.
oh my lord, not yet. Stick with it for a few minutes.
It's been a few minutes.
Welcome to the Mug Off. I'm Cameron Duggan. How yous going, blokes?
Yeah, hang on, I could actually... No, sorry. Oh, yeah, I'm Jared McGowan.
Yeah, and I'm the deadliest podcaster in the game. Yes, Thorn.
Oh, this is getting into crook territory.
So it's-
as we often do. As we often do
I'm
on
call-
the mug off.
I'm-
We don't mind. On the mug off, we get pretty fucking real, right, lads?
I'm calling back to a conversation that happened on the mug off about Andrew Hastings saying deadly a couple episodes ago.
Oh,
Do an
yeah, we
intro-
fucking called...
intro podcast call.
Yeah, we fucking called Andrew Hastings out the other day for saying deadly, didn't we?
Sort of.
we did.
What do you reckon of Andrew Hastings as a comic, boys?
Whose
Oh.
voice is that supposed to be?
No one.
Is that McGowan or Duggan?
Why are you talking? I'm Cameron Duggan. You've known me for
right,
years.
okay, sure. All right. So okay, I'm following. I'm back. Look, podcasting's hard.
Yeah, this one's harder than the last one.
My ex owes me $30,000.
Does she?
No,
Fuck.
not anymore.
She mugged you off, you might say.
I was mugged off.
One of the ultimate mug offs.
Have you been mugged off recently, Yaz?
Have I been mugged off? I guess you could say I have been mugged off recently.
Have you been sugged off recently?
I was mugged off recently. In fact, I went to the January 26th Invasion Day rally, and I went with I don't know if you guys. It's like a little podcast no one listens to. It's called "We'll Just Tell Your Mother We Ate It All."
Shit.
I was there with one of the dog shit co-hosts there, Andrew Hastings, and like I'm
Worst of the three.
Yeah, I'm shouting like full credit to Andrew Hastings for being an ally. I think that was really brave of him.
Yeah, I think he
did.
I think he does it performatively though.
Yeah. I think so too.
Is that a word that you would normally say, Cameron?
I think he does it in a way where he wants to get pussy.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I think so too. But I was mugged off at this event. I don't know if you might actually talk about this. I don't know if I can. There was a woman there who started screaming and making a scene and getting naked during one of the speeches.
Yeah.
During it, and Andrew Hastings was there, and he was looking at it, and he wasn't really sure how to feel about it because protest is obviously important in these sort of things, but also that woman didn't appear to be Indigenous, and it kind of seemed like she was making the day about herself. And I saw that Andrew Hastings was feeling a bit stressed out about the conflict and didn't know how to feel about it. And I reassured him that woman was in fact a cunt and making the day about herself, and that made Andrew Hastings feel a lot better. So that woman mugged me off.
Do you reckon Hastings tried to fuck her though?
I suspect he did.
What a scumbag.
Hang on, boys. I've just got to take a bit of a beverage break.
We're doing ads for the podcast now. Sorry, back in my uni days. I was working on an assignment before I got here, in fact. Yeah, sorry. That is, what else is going on?
So should we get into the phones?
Yeah. It's probably time to get into the phones. I'll be the guest on this one. It's me, Rove McManus. Say hi to your mum for me.
All right, now, Rose.
Well, thank you for coming on the podcast, Rob.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm not doing much at the moment. I'm going back to Just for Laughs Montreal.
Rove, you were actually the subject of one of our hacks.
Yeah, was it about Going back to Just for Laughs Montreal, which I'm doing
You
next
received
year?
a text message from Cameron James.
Oh,
I
that
believe.
little fucker.
Yeah, tell us about Cameron.
Yeah, I can tell you about. I mean, like,
Oh, sorry, we should say ring-a-ding-ding. You've got the keys.
so you want to know about the writers' room for my new show? Well, old show, I guess now you'd call it.
This is impenetrable.
Oh, yeah. Like, at one point, we are going to have to give up and just, explain what we've just done.
I think it's pretty clear what we've done.
With the phone.
Okay.
Sorry.
What are you? Are you
need to-
boys?
we are
the- we are the
Are you
phone
boys?
hacks. Yeah,
Are you
yeah,
boys
yeah, we're
having
the
a
phone
crisis of confidence here? I mean, like, what the? I thought you boys had one of Melbourne comedy's most popular podcasts. I made time out of my day
Hey,
doing nothing.
Hey, Rove.
Yeah, what's up, man?
When you say hi to your mum for me,
Yeah.
are you actually talking about 69ers?
The interesting.
That's a pretty good cap.
The interesting.
It's weird that you would say that about an
I
impression
love
of yourself.
Yeah, you keep. I mean, I've been listening to a lot of Australian podcasts recently, like Were You Hot in High School and The Mug Off, and it's weird that the guy who sounds most like you, Nick, always refers to himself in the third person. But yeah, the funny thing about Say Hi to Your Mum for me, it's always about your mum, Nick.
I think think it's pretty good. Sorry, breaking for a minute.
Okay.
I think it's pretty good.
I'm still Rove McManus, by
I
the
was
way.
able to
Yeah.
get an actual story in from the perspective of another person. I think that's a little bit impressive.
Yeah, I mean, when I did,
I'm just really worried that this is bad.
when I did,
it is.
when I did Rove Live with Corinne Grant and Peter Hellier, Peter would often come in and be like, "Could you believe I managed to spin that yarn while holding my arms at full stretch?"
When I can't do the. When I was growing up on a farm, I know a lot of bit about John Deere mowing equipment.
So
And
do you want my fucking phone or something?
Yeah, we should.
Or do we need to go down the wheel?
What
I've
did we?
never actually listened to this podcast.
Oh, hang on a second.
I listened to the bit where Rose talks shit about Hastings, and then I didn't listen to the rest of the episode.
Who's Rose and who's Hastings?
Rose Piper, former guest on this show, Phone Hacks.
And who's Hastings?
Amazing. I don't know.
Should I check him out?
Hang on a second.
No.
We've got to spin the wheel.
Yeah.
So just,
This dog shit.
This is my favorite episode.
Is that actually the sound effect?
Yeah.
Oh,
You should know, Nick.
yeah.
all right, and we landed on text to a random. So we got to get in your.
All right, well, I'll pass my phone to Nick.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, bro.
No worries, man.
Are we?
Cartman? He's become Cartman.
You seem like you're having a crisis of confidence, Nick.
I am a little bit. So I am a little bit.
Maybe just speak in your natural voice
All
and
right,
we'll see
that's
if
fair.
comedy comes from it.
I'm Nick Kappa.
You know what?
I'm Rove McManus.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to send a text from your phone, Rove McManus. Yeah, this is actually much easier, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to send a text from your phone, Rove McManus, me, Nick Kappa. I'm going to send a text to
his mum.
I'm going to send a text to
Say hi to his own mum.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. If you just send a message to my mum saying hi,
Yeah.
that would get some good socials.
Kind of
I think.
really like.
And like it wouldn't do
subvert
it wouldn't do anything that damaging to my brand.
Yeah.
Roving Enterprises.
That is the brand.
I know.
I think what you
came up
should
with
do
it.
is you should send a text to Corinne Grant.
Okay.
And you got to wait till 3 a.m. to send the text.
Oh, so you want me to do some deeply problematic stuff?
I want you to do some very deeply problematic stuff.
Done.
Yeah. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Can we sidebar again?
Yeah.
We're so close to the 100th episode.
Or are we?
Like,
So close, yet so far.
We're so close to syndication.
we're so close
Can't
to
wait
our
to get that anger management money.
We're so close to our 100th episode. Let's abandon this conceit and go back to riffing because I would like people to continue listening to the podcast.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. So welcome to Blank Slate movie podcast.
Welcome back to We'll Just Tell Your Mother We Ate It All.
You're
We
listening
thought,
to Finding Drago. We found him.
Hey, it's me, Drago.
you know what?
If he cries, he cries.
Dude, we found you finally.
Here I am.
Dude.
Here I am. I like to,
Actually, I think I find that we didn't find Drago.
I like to fight people.
I think what we just learned.
Is
Totally
that
reboot
the-
this podcast.
I think what we just learned is the other podcasts don't have what we have.
Yeah. Riffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just not as funny.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're laboring and going in and out of characters and
We-
referring to themselves in the third person.
Hey,
It's
but
very
at least
weird.
they're having fun.
Very weird conceit for them to all do.
It's
you
such
know what?
a hot day.
But you know what I think we just learned?
What?
You got to be true to yourself.
Yeah.
True.
You got to stick to your guns.
That's
Maybe
true.
what we're doing is okay.
Yeah, I think maybe we're all right.
What are we on time wise?
We're
Oh,
15 minutes on this session.
Damn.
On this
So-
leg.
Oh, that'll get us like
I
close.
reckon
to
we've got to do maybe like another 10.
I think we've got to do
Like-
another 5 because we did 25 before.
Man, I want to go have a beer so bad.
Yeah, I would like to get out of here.
I cannot stress to everyone enough how hot it is right now.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, this is not a negative thing about
I've got
wanting
like
to end the podcast.
I've got sweat like going into my eyes.
Yeah, same.
What has everyone else been up to? Has anyone else got any stories that's happened to them lately?
Been going to the gym a
You've
lot.
been going to the gym? Yeah, like we're both on our health kick.
Yeah.
Should we do fitness advice for the listeners?
I don't know if I can say this on air, but I got a pretty cool opportunity coming up for me.
Oh, yeah?
I might have to beep it.
Yeah.
It'll be cool for Hastings. You'll glaze over, Rose. But I got invited.
Should I go outside early?
Yeah, maybe. I got invited by Square Enix to go to like a Final Fantasy remake preview event.
Fuck, that's so sick.
Where like they have like it's at Powerhouse Museum. They have like a 3-hour build of the game, and the director of the game is coming from Japan for interviews.
I work really close
I mean-
to Powerhouse Museum. If you could find a way to...
I think
might-
I've done ones with +1s before, but I think this is press only.
I might glaze over a bit at that, but that is something that I know would make you very happy.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for you.
I love maturity.
I like my friends to have good times.
That's huge though. Like that's like a huge like it's gonna be a AAA fucking gonna sell millions of copies. That's like a huge fucking
Yeah,
thing.
and we can possibly interview the director of the game. So I'm
Man.
trying to think of questions, but I don't think I'll get to interview him. I think it'll go to like the big publications
Who's
first.
directing the game? Ridley Scott,
Yeah,
James Cameron,
No, it's
Cameron James.
It's Katase-san.
Is he still? Is he? So what's like the authorship of Final Fantasy? Is it just Square Enix as a company, or has it had like a single vision? The
I'm
whole
so
time?
glad you've asked
who's responsible
because this will really pad the time.
Who's responsible for Final Fantasy?
Well, it's kind of changed over the years. So the person who created it,
Sorry, sidebar. Rose, is having a pussy your Final Fantasy? Back to Jamie.
that's good. Whereas like
Silence.
No
a
time
Didn't
for a
even-
response.
That's
Didn't
a-
even let me down.
well, see,
answer.
like that's good. But also, if we had a female to male trans person, you could use the other Square Enix
Yes.
RPG license and be like, "Hey, is your Final Fantasy getting a Dragon Quest?" Just because they want to get a penis installed.
Kingdom Hearts. Anyway, go on.
Yeah.
that one felt like a stretch.
I was just saying names of games.
No, not you. His.
No, it was a
Right.
stretch.
I mean that
Yeah.
continues.
well,
the
it's a
stretch.
dragon. Is a penis. It's like a big snake.
Mine is. Mine's a giant dragon.
Yeah.
Chinese New Year, bitches.
Oh my god!
Had to learn
This
it
is
here.
definitely the worst episode.
No, I think it might be the best.
So hot.
Yeah. It's changed over the years, basically. Like it started as Hironobu Sakaguchi, like created the first one, was kind of executive producer on the first 6 and director, and then like took an overseer role for 7, 8, 9, while other people took the forefront. Then
7, 8,
Sakaguchi-
9 are the best, aren't they?
Well, it depends who you talk to, but like,
I liked 6 a lot.
yeah, well, he directed that,
Yeah,
I think, but like. He kind of like he was the overseer. Like you still had to run everything
Yeah.
by him, but like new people.
Like
had to-
Miyamoto, like still like he doesn't actually fucking code for Zelda anymore. Like he, like he just kind of goes, Link wouldn't do that.
Well,
Okay.
I read an interesting thing about old Miyamoto the other day because I was researching a Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
I was listening to the soundtrack
Apparently it's
while
great.
working, and it's dope as shit.
Apparently it's a great game.
And so I was like, maybe I should buy this game. It's too expensive for me right now, but apparently
It'll drop.
So like, Tropical Freeze is not developed in-house by Nintendo first party anymore. So Retro had to like prove to Miyamoto that they could do it. He
Yeah,
was
right.
like, show me what you fucking got.
That's sick.
Yeah.
When was the last time? Aren't all Donkey Kong platformers been out of house for a while now? Like I know Rare.
I
did
thought
all
it was
the-
rare from the start, but like
well, I mean, like define start. Are we talking like
I'm talking
Donkey
country.
Kong? No, like Donkey Kong Country was rare. That's
Yeah.
definitely rare. But I'm saying like, is Donkey Kong with Jumpman? That's
That's
Nintendo.
Miyamoto,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's Miyamoto Nintendo.
I think
right?
that was like one of Miyamoto's first big games.
Yes,
It
I know
actually
he
does
created
sound
him
like I'm
along
going
with
outside of the room
Mario,
right now.
but because they were debuted in the same game.
Hmm.
But also, isn't like Donkey Kong Jr. like the one that actually informed a lot of?
I had Donkey Kong Jr. on
Apparently
NES.
it's great.
Mario, his only antagonist role in 30 years of Nintendo games.
I mean,
He's
when
the-
I play Super Smash Brothers, not as Mario, it's kind of an
that's
antagonist.
true.
but
Well, I
that's kind of
suppose
cheap.
Mario Kart as well. Fuck, I've hurt my shoulder podcasting. I've got podcast shoulder.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. I think I lifted too many weights the other day. I'm getting into weights and just sitting in the weight room waiting for that coronavirus joke to hit.
I like the weight room. It's like just where you sit.
Yeah, I sit and I pound the
The
walls.
waiting room. Based on when this comes out, that will be such a thing of the past, I'm sure. Already.
What?
Coronavirus.
Yeah, no, I reckon it's got legs.
I think I might have it.
Do you?
Well, because of my job, I'm at like
Oh,
pretty
no.
high risk. Like there's like 500 kids coming back from China this week.
Yeah.
And like we've had like briefings about it at work. There's like sanitary stations.
We've
set up
even
and
had
stuff.
emails at work being like, "Hey, if anyone's been to China in like the last 12 weeks or so, like
So-
get the fuck out." And I've been
Yeah.
tempted to be like, "Me."
I'm face to face with 1,000 people from China, over the course
Yeah.
of a week every week. And And it's all fine. Like, it's been massively blown out of like the risk is massively blown out of proportion by the media and stuff. But it's like the other day, like my throat started hurting and I've been having back pain, and it's like, ugh, you know.
And you're like, oh no, I've got it.
Well, like I'm healthy. Like I'm in the like I'd be fine if I got it. I just have to go to hospital. For
Are you a
weeks.
hypochondriac?
Not really.
Are you, Rose?
No.
I am a
I
little
thought you would
bit.
be. You strike me as a hypochondriac, Rose. I would believe it for you.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't
Really?
think Rose would be like on WebMD and stuff, being like, "Oh, what's my headache leading to?
I'm not like
Coronavirus."
that.
I used to be like that a lot
I'm a
more than I
whinger
am
when
now.
I am sick.
Oh,
but-
totally. I love to be a baby when I'm sick.
Yeah, I'm a baby about it for sure.
It's like
Everyone at work knows I have a sore back right now.
yeah, sick.
They know about it.
Well, like I used to do
The
like
funny thing about your back, though,
Mm.
is that it's located on your cock.
That is from Superbad from
yes,
memory.
it is. How long have we done now?
23 minutes on this.
Fuck,
break.
we did it. We got there.
Guys, we succeeded. Guys,
I gave
it's really
I
hard.
gave myself the worst case of podcast shoulder in the world, but
Yeah.
maybe I'll change hands.
If you are still listening at this point,
But they can't all be winners.
please come back next week.
I think they'll be like, man, when are they going to do the next podcast? Like, when are they going to do the next Australian podcast? When are they going to do Simpsons Index? When are they going to do...
Ladies' Guide to Dude Cinema.
Yes, Free to a Good Home.
Free to a Good Home.
Dragon Friends.
Dragon Friends.
We could do Dragon Friends, I think, would be pretty cool.
Roll the dice. Oh no, this podcast is bad.
But you're talking about our podcast.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I
It would have been better if we just went through them and just found different ways to slam them. That probably would have been better.
Well, we've done that like
That's
5
what I mean.
times.
It's just because when we did that, it worked.
Yeah.
I will say though, like for anything that may have seemed kind of mean, like the podcast we were making fun of are our friends' podcasts, and they're very funny. You should listen to
Not
them.
mine.
I would say 1 out of 3.
Not my friends at all.
you can guess which ones. No, they're all great.
I've
you
been
should listen to them.
I've been on Where You're Hot in High School and Phone Hacks. Go listen to that.
What was the
episode.
other
Personally
one we
refuse
did?
to be in the same room as every person who's ever recorded a podcast in Sydney who isn't in this room right now. So
That's very cool.
yeah, I'm a pretty cool guy in that way.
What podcast have we guested on? Oh yeah, we've guested on a podcast once.
We did.
Yeah. I've been on 2 podcasts.
I've guessed on a few. Don't worry about me.
I'm not. You're
Don't
doing
worry
much
about
better.
Don't worry about it.
Shut up.
Shut up.
All right, let's go.
Yeah,
Fly a kite.
follow me at Rosales Piper on Instagram, Twitter, Rose Piper on Facebook. Please come to my Melbourne Comedy Festival show. It's called Goddess. It's at Mantra, 6 p.m. weekdays and Saturday and 5 p.m. Sundays. And it's on in Sydney at the Factory, May 6 and May 8 at 9:30. Please come. Please.
Come to Powerbomb Comedy Friday night, Staves Brewery. It's always good. It's always sick. Pre-book because it always sells well. And also listen to fucking Sydney podcast. Listen to Ladies Guide to Dude Cinema. Listen to The Mug Off. Listen to
Where You're Hot in High
Phone
School.
Hacks. Listen to Where You're Hot in High School. Do it all. Because they're all very good and they don't do episodes where they get too hot and Hastings doesn't realize he was supposed to have watched Risky Business.
Yeah, and a bunch of the people from them have been on this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, me and Peter Hellier are developing a new show.
Yep.
I'm Rove McManus. It's
The
good-
Whovians.
It's good to be here. No,
I
it's
forgot you were a
actually
hero.
it's I'm
You're
doing
so small.
I'm doing a new show because we've been realizing recently like like comedy's kind of out, like based on my last show, like there's not a big room for us. So what we're getting into is like Fortnite's huge with the kids at the
Yeah,
moment.
kids love Fortnite.
So we're doing we're going to do like segue into esports. It's going to be called Land Rover.
Yeah.
And I'm going to comment on Fortnite games and maybe some Overwatch, And Peter Hellier is going to be by my side. We're talking to Twitch.
Yeah.
We're talking to Network 10.
That's great.
They want to air it at Saturday, 11 p.m.
Yeah.
They've signed us on for
Yeah. I'm still the biggest name in Australian comedy.
Yeah.
While I appreciate the riff, why would you prolong this for any longer than it needs to go?
because it amuses me.
Let's wrap it up.
Hey, I'll say a thing we've never said. Like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, do it.
So
Maybe
the-
that's why we don't get there. We just don't remind people to do
the
that at the end.
people listen to it and they're just like, well, that was nice.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
done.
If only there was a way to tell people.
Yeah.
All
It's
right,
like,
well,
how am I
let's-
supposed to know when the next episode comes out?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
To the next step.
To the next step.
Say hi to the battle bus for me.